And the person told him that if he didn't give him anything for Thursday the 23rd, he was going to leave it to him there outside the house. He said, I'm going to bring your boy to you in pieces. I received a call asking for a ransom of 250,000 pesos. I told him, in that case, your father and I are the ones who are going to die first. He said, no, Mom. He said, maybe I will be the one to go before you. I need to find my son, and each day the pain grows more and more.
In our nation, disappearances and violence impact all genders and social classes. We often witness tragedies where people lose their loved ones in acts of violence or face stories that challenge our understanding and humanity. But what happens when the beings we love simply disappear without a trace? Uncertainty, pain, and despair become a constant for families seeking answers, facing a system that often seems indifferent or incapable of providing justice. So today we will have the opportunity to hear from Ana Laura Cervantes Piña, who will share with us the heartbreaking case of her son David, who one day went to work and never returned.
My name is Ana Laura Cervantes Piña. Well, my son disappeared on July 19th of the year 2020. It was a Sunday. And well, he was called for a job in the real colony, San Pedro de Suazo, Nuevo León. He told me that he would be back in 15 minutes because he was just going to do maintenance on a piece of equipment. He asked me for the van, but at that moment I couldn't lend it to him because I also had work and had to make some food deliveries. So my son, my other son, who is Mauricio, had the work van. And so it was easy for me to tell David, ask Maury for the van so you can go do the job. So, my son lends him the van and tells him,
bring it back quickly.
Right, because, I have to go home. So, David took the van. He leaves quickly on that journey that he had to go. I think he still went to see my grandchildren. And from there, he went to meet a person because she was going to take him to the place where he was going to do his job. The minutes passed, I think about half an hour, and then we started to call him because it was already past the 15 minutes he had said. So he wasn't answering the phone, and then it stopped ringing. My son went out in my truck to look for him in Torre de San Pedro, but no, he didn't find him. He returns to the business. I start dialing again, and no, the phone has turned off. It has turned off. So it seemed very strange to me that, something was happening. Unfortunately, I had a lot of work that day, and it was when coronavirus disease was happening. That's all. We had permission to close until 10 at night, so I closed the business at 10 and quickly go to look for my son in the Ventorial San Pedro. I started from the beginning of the colony to the end, looking for him street by street, but we never found the van. So I came back all of Real de Palmas, Villas de Alcalá, and with his friends, and nobody knew anything. Around 12 at night, I started to call Locatel. I started to post it on social media, Facebook. His friends. Nobody knew anything. Nobody had seen him. So what I did, is to keep looking for him, It was 4 a.m. and nothing, right? So around 7, 8 in the morning, I take a shower, have a coffee, and get up. To search for it again, to start looking for everything from the beginning. Real San Pedro once more. Now, yes, everything's back. Each block. And I found him in the truck, it hadn't happened, I believe, not even 5 blocks. He was in front of a hardware store. The truck, it didn't have a key, it didn't have anything. His tool was there, but, he wasn't there then in that. I call my son and I say, do you know what? The truck is here. I made myself see. Just come for me. My daughter stays there. When my son arrives, I will start looking for him with my son. Well, to ask in the houses that were around who had left that truck there if they had seen anything. Well, obviously nobody is speaking. A house caught my attention a lot, and believe me, I didn't want to move from there. I don't know, maybe my mother's instinct. I had a feeling I needed to persist with that house, so I kept knocking repeatedly. However, no one answered the door. We went to the civil force. The civil force arrived. They started to analyze everything that was there. But they told me that I had to go and file the complaint at the CODE in San Nicolas because it was faster. Because if it was with them, well, they had to make a report. It was more time consuming. So we went to the CODE. My daughter and I, the father of my son, well, he was in Apodaca looking for David at the delegations. Because before that, I had received a call where they told me there was a boy very similar to David, that they had him detained. So then Mauricio Grande and Mauricio Chico moved, but they said it wasn't David.
Upon finding her son's truck and after the authorities' analysis, especially what was found at the place, Anna was going to file the complaint. However, an unexpected call would change the course of the investigation forever.
So while Diana and I are moving to the CODE, I receive a call on the way asking me for a ransom, which was 10,000 pesos. I thought it wasn't the real call, so to speak, that it was a fraud. Because, coincidentally, I had put my phone number and I said, no, well, they are not the kidnappers. So we arrived at the CODE, and when it's my turn to make the statement or file the virtual complaint, I get a call. It's a number from Matamoros asking for a ransom of 250,000 pesos. So when I ask him why my son, why David? He told me that, well, nothing more, because he was very, how should I say it, like very talkative, like I can do it right then. Well, my son was always like that. He wasn't afraid of anything. So they told me that the next day they were going to call me at the same time and they were going to ask me for, 250,000. I asked him, where do you have it? He told me it was on the Laredo Highway, but the person who is taking my virtual complaint told me, ma'am, you don't have to be here. This is a kidnapping. She warned me to leave immediately and go to the anti-kidnapping unit before they come for me. So I still waited for the anti-kidnapping unit to locate me. Noke, my daughter and I moved to the anti-kidnapping unit because they never came for us. So once at the anti-kidnapping unit, we were giving our statement about what had happened to my son, right? They took me out of the game because, like my son, they knew I'd get upset. They were saying it was a self-kidnapping or part of some revenge or something. So they told me I had to leave where I wouldn't be exposed, where nobody could see me. So I went to my son's house, my son Mauricio, to take shelter there so that nobody would know. The one who was handling the negotiations was my son's father. They never reached an agreement. They never wanted to give a proof of life. Nothing was ever known. The phone they were calling, well, Mauricio lost it. To this day, I had to change my number. My son, he didn't know the current number. He didn't know it. So I have had that doubt that maybe they called the other number, the one that was for the business. But all of that was lost, coincidentally, after my son was kidnapped. I don't think even 2 weeks passed. They broke into the house and stole his motorcycle, his clothes, his tools, a television. things that at that moment didn't matter to me, because obviously what I wanted to find was my son. And well, from there, from that Thursday, the 23rd, it was the last call. From there, we didn't know anything. Well, nothing more. Going to the anti-kidnapping unit, I've gone on searches with the collective. We did a search in Real San Pedro. All the area where there's like a stream, all that edge we were looking for, but well, all negative. So, well, the truth is I feel very desperate for not having news of him, because we don't even have a trace. Well, from what he told me that one day he was talking to a boy, and he said he didn't ask me for 250, he asked me for 200. He berated him harshly. But he never knew who, if that voice was from someone he knew, that is, nothing was known. When it was gonna be Wednesday the 22nd, I think the person told him that if he didn't give him anything for Thursday the 23rd, he was going to leave it outside the house. He said, "I'm going to bring your boy to you in pieces." The father of my son, well, he was there that night, the 22nd, the 23rd, Thursday, and well, they never brought anything. I mean, I don't know if they were just threats or if they really did have David. Well, after each call, he would go there in Escobedo by the edge of a river, and he told me that he would go to cry, to scream, to vent. He was looking for him. He had, police friends in Escobedo, so he was looking for him. He was asking, and well, even though they were looking for him, nobody knew anything. He even went to see clairvoyants. He went to one in Veracruz. He went to another one here in Santa Maria. They told him that my son was alive, that my son, that people were bringing him, right? I mean, that they had him working. But once he told me, "You stay calm, David is around," and David is around. And I would say to him, "How can you believe so much," right? Then he would tell me, and it's just that they already told me that he is alive. He is going to come to see you. He is going to come to look for you. But, almost 5 years have passed, and I'm still waiting for my son. But nothing he said has ever happened, right? I believe that part of his illness was also that he sank deeply into sadness, even though he didn't want to show it to us. 2 years passed, and he passed away. On November 3rd of 2022. The previous year, he had also become very ill, but, he was able to be saved this time. He cried a lot for David, as he is our eldest son, so... No, we haven't heard anything. I mean, it's a pain. It's a very, very big pain that we are living today since 2020.
Despite the uncertainty of the situation, there was a suspicion that Anna could not ignore. The voice of the person asking for money in exchange for her son was disturbingly familiar. It sounded very similar to that of a close friend of her son.
Yes, the voice of the person who spoke to me on the first call, I associated it with a friend of my son. His name is Luis. And they were always together, just not with me. What seems strange to me is that he never asked what had happened to David. And with the call, and then with him never asking me about David, he deleted Facebook, he deleted his WhatsApp. I mean, several things happened that made me doubt him even more. And he was selling his house, his furniture. And I reported all of this to the anti-kidnapping unit, right? I don't know what progress they've made on that so far, but all I want is for him to speak. If he knows something, then he should say it. What happened to my son? If my son is no longer alive, then where is his body? Is it to recover his body or is it to find him, right? If he is alive, we just want to know what happened, right? That's all. Well, actually, no, I haven't tried for safety reasons. I have mentioned this to the anti-kidnapping unit, but they tell me it's not very advisable for me to approach. Yes, this one. I went looking for him several times near his house, but he doesn't live there anymore. So there were several people, several acquaintances of his who also made the comment to me that something was going on, that maybe he was involved because he just separated from his wife and they were selling their things. I mean, he never answered my calls. He even changed his phone number. Just imagine that. There are days when I feel my son is alive and there are days when I don't. So I can't tell you if he's alive or not. As a mother, of course, I obviously want him to be alive, right? But no, I can't say whether he is alive or not. I always tell her, sweetheart, visit me in my dreams, give me a hug, I need you. Special occasions have passed, for example, my birthday, and she has visited me and given me a hug. She also did it on May 10th. I hadn't dreamt about it, neither good nor bad, for 2 years. And I think it was just recently on my birthday that I once again asked for him to hug me. That I didn't want gifts, I just wanted to see them, my dreams. He came and hugged me just the same. That for me is very, very, very important because even though I don't talk to him, I feel his hug. My son and I, we were very close. He would tell me his things. He lived with me, so his child, his adoration. The girl, well, barely, was just 2 months old, so it wasn't like there was much communication with the baby, right? But the boy, well, the boy would take her everywhere. If the boy wanted something, he was there. If the boy wanted something from the market, well, he was there. If the boy needed something, well, David, and if he didn't have it, sometimes he would say to me, Mom, lend me. Tomorrow I do a job or I get paid on Saturday. I give it to you. I give it back to you. But he never left the boy. So I have never thought that David left on his own or that David does not want to return. I mean, no, maybe if he doesn't come back. And if they have him there, sheltered or deprived of freedom, force, well, it's not because he wants to. I mean, I think his love for us, both his son and me, who am his mother, is so great that he would never do anything to put us in danger. And he never told me, hey, Mom, they threatened me, did they? He told me on some occasions that they had offered him to go to work. And I told him, don't you dare go. And I told him here, even if it's just beans, but there will always be some plate of food. I told him it wasn't necessary, but he insisted, saying, no, Mom, how do you think I'm going to leave? He asked if I was scared. He once told me that they're going to kill him or something. You know, that day he had never celebrated his birthday in a big way, nor had he been going crazy. His birthday is on July 15th. That year of 2020, he started drinking like crazy. He drank all the 15th, which was a Wednesday. He drank the 16th, 17th, and the 18th. That Friday, I told him, hey, enough, David, enough. Step back. And he said, Mom, let me celebrate my birthday the way I like, please. I asked him, do you like it this way? He said, yes, like this, I want to be drinking. He said, I don't know if I'm going to die. I don't know if this is my last birthday. I asked my son how he could think that way, reminding him that he has a lot of life ahead of him. He told me, in that case, your dad and I are the ones who are going to die first. I replied, no, Mom. He said, maybe I'm going to be the first one before you. It struck me as very strange, right, that he would say that to me, but well, no, I didn't take it that seriously because he was drunk. So that Friday night, he had an altercation with some neighbors there because someone had stolen his glass. Well, it wasn't his, it was a neighbor's who had lent it to him. A neighbor, a friend of his, had lent him the pressure washer, and he was already asking for it back. But this kid had it stolen from the front of his house. David had been told who it was, and so he confronted them. That night, he demanded the return of the borrowed pressure washer, emphasizing that it belonged to someone else and needed to be given back as keeping it would be unfair. We're neighbors, right? I think the boy threatened him at that moment. At first, I came to think that they had something to do with it. Until now, I don't know. I remember that I went to the door and I said, David, come, David. And David told me no. I told him come. He said, no, they have to pay me that, Mom. And no, they don't want to have a showdown with me. I told him there's no need, enough. Let them be. Let it be. So this woman had contacted me about David. I don't know which woman because he never showed me her name. But that person was telling him that he was the best, technician. That David asked him, am I going to send someone to do the job? He said, no, I want you to do it. So on Saturday, David tells me, Mom, this lady keeps insisting. I told him. Then he says, I don't want to go. I told him, then don't go. He says, I feel good, bad. He said, I feel really bad. Well, he had a hangover, right? From Wednesday to Saturday. So when my son didn't go, he didn't go. And he didn't even go to work that day. So he told me he was going to go tomorrow, which was Sunday. So on Sunday, he did go to find the person and do the work. So in fact, he went to pick up the woman. I think at an express loan place that's around there. But the address, well, nobody knew it. We only knew that he was going to Real San Pedro, where I found the truck. And from there, I didn't know anymore. So what woman? We didn't find the posts. We didn't find WhatsApp messages. We didn't find anything, nothing that links him to her. Well, maybe he was unconscious, or maybe he did know, or maybe he had been threatened. But well, he didn't tell me. Maybe, and yes, they did take him to work by force. Maybe to not take him away. So they were probably asking for money, right? Maybe they had the chance to give him back to us.
Nowadays, Anna reflects on the actions of the father, her son, and the authorities in charge of the case. She constantly wonders if, had she been more involved in the process from the beginning, the outcome would have been different.
But, well, as they never gave proof of life, not a video or a call where he would talk to us. So based on that, my son's father never wanted to pay the ransom. I did confront him and I did ask him, why to that extent? And he told me that because, well, he had been advised by the anti-kidnapping unit not to give a penny. So that's the reason why he didn't give a single penny. What guaranteed him that David wasn't dead? What assured him that they would return him? So yes, as of today, I now see many things and say, why was I taken out of the game? Because I allowed it to be locked up for safety? Yes, for my safety or that of my children. But then David's life was at stake. and still is. If my son is still alive, right? Well, at that time, I had a van that I could have given to sell it. Whatever they would have given me at that moment, and give it in exchange for David. I would have given everything I had, very little, but I would have given it for my son. And I still say, if I had to give whatever I have to give and what I have, I give it for my son. Even if I'm left with nothing, maybe he did the best he could. Maybe the decision not to have given the money, I feel it wasn't the best. In my view, as a mom, maybe he, as a dad, had a different way of thinking. And well, we didn't talk about it much because he and I were no longer together. So did he spend a lot of time looking for him? Yes, I can attest to that, right? That he went out every day to look for him. My son Mauricio also accompanied him. There was a person, in fact, a friend of theirs was more a friend of Maury than he said that he knew many things about David. But when he is taken by the anti-kidnapping squad, he doesn't want to give an interview. He doesn't want to say anything. He doesn't say anything. So, well, that's how things were left without knowing anything about him. He said he knew who had him and how many days. They were going to kill him. He also knew who had taken the motorcycle, which was part of the same thing. But he didn't want to talk. He never ever spoke. I've been tempted to go talk to him, but my children stopped me. I mean, they say to me, Mom, how are you going to put yourself in danger? How are you going to take that risk? But honestly, I mean, I'm not scared. I'm not scared because I need to find my son. We, as mothers of missing children, I believe we don't have a life. We don't have a life. I tell my kids they may see me smiling and singing sometimes. I told him, but David, it still hurts. And every day the pain is more and more. It's more intense. It's more desperation. There are days when depression hits us and we don't even want to get up. But at the same time, I say for him, I have to, and for you, David, I have to stand up. For you, I have to keep working and I have to find you. And it's my promise every year that I have to find my son wherever he is and however he is. I only trust in God that one day someone will take pity and tell me, Ma'am, is your son still here or is he not? That's all it is. Not to look for culprits because, well, there's no point anymore. I mean, I love my son. I've mentioned it to my daughter that sometimes I tell her, you know what? Once I told her, you know what? I don't want to live anymore. And she said, Mom, what about us? And us? Don't you think about us? I told him. You see, in moments of depression and when one feels that pain, one doesn't think about anything, not about the children or the grandchildren. At that moment, when you analyze later, you say, well, yes, I have my 2 children. I have my 4 grandchildren who, well, I know they love me. But, well, yes. I mean, they are also the reason why one has to fight, why one has to put on another face. But I tell you, when we go into depression, we don't think about anything, about nothing more than not suffering anymore, not having that pain anymore. And sometimes I've said, if I'm not here anymore, then let him take me with him. But then I see my children and, well, yes, I mean, I'm telling you, I get very excited when my daughter comes to eat at home, or when my son tells me, Mom, come have dinner with us. Come, I made some meat, or do you want some meat? I tell you, the topic of David with them, it's hardly ever brought up, hardly ever. Because they don't like to see me cry. They don't like to see me suffer. But yes, my children are also very important in my life, and it would cause them a lot of pain as well. If something were to happen to me, why? Because they don't have their father anymore. So one day my son Maury said to me, Mom, are you only suffering because of David? He said, but I'm suffering for my dad and I'm suffering for David. That made me, realize, like, it brought me back, right? It made me react a bit more. What is true? Their pain, maybe it is more because there are two losses. To the people who took him away, I would say that give me back my son. That if we have to stay silent, we will stay silent. That if I have to go far away, I will go with my son. That whatever they ask of me, I will do, but they must return my son to me. And if my son is no longer here, if my son is no longer alive, just tell me where they left him.
To go.
For him to have a decent place to mourn him, to visit him. Just that I'm not looking for culprits.
Would say to my
Son, that I love him with all my heart. And that I send him all my love, all my kisses. And he should never expect or think that I have anything against him, but that I am with much love. To welcome him and make all his favorite meals, his tamales, his mole, everything he loves.
and always
I wait for him and will always continue to search for him until the day I end in this life.
if someone were to arrive.
To know something, they can locate me through Facebook. I'm under Ana Cervantes. There's a background picture of my son, Luis David, my phone. I keep it private because yes, I have been I have been extorted many times, but on Facebook, they can locate me there. Through the collective of searchers from Nuevo León, there are also with them. And that's it. I came across the collective through Facebook, you see. I often posted about my son, but I was contacted by Lulu. Mrs. Lulu asked me to tell her about the case. And she introduced me to the collective. I was just getting through the 6 months since David's kidnapping. From there, they have given me their support. They have helped me to continue with the investigation. They make sure the case file doesn't get closed. We have been on searches and marches in search of our missing. And yes, they have been of great support. Advances. I haven't seen advances, nothing more. Yes, they have done several interviews, but without results. So I'm like in the first from the beginning without anything.
Mrs. Anna has made it clear that at this point she is no longer seeking justice. She only longs to find her son and stop living in the hell of uncertainty, as do thousands and thousands of searching mothers in this country.
I think we, as mothers or as family of missing people, then we do see it, because when a woman disappears, it's true. People move more frequently and in greater numbers. More attention, even the news. When David disappeared, I spoke to a news station and they told me they couldn't report it because it was a kidnapping. So there have been several women who have been kidnapped and they still look for them. The news still gets reported. And us as mothers of boys, it's a little less the interest that entities put, for example, what is the government? Then they push us a little to the side. I believe that everyone is important, both men and women, as well as babies and children. So everyone has the right to be sought. Well, they should give the same importance to all the people who disappear, to all the people. Whether we are poor, whether we are rich, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, I don't know, she says. The status we have. They won't prioritize him just because he's wealthier, right? No, because I'm poor, they're going to leave me for last. So I believe that we all deserve to be sought after. That everyone who is watching this, join us in the searches, join us with their eyes, so that our children can be found. If you see someone who looks like my son, let me know. Because I don't know if there's a way to upload a picture of him. And well, that's all. I would greatly appreciate it if you also keep your eyes open. Like us, we are on alert to be found.
Note that these interviews are posted Mondays and Wednesdays on Pepe Misterio's channel. And if you have gone through or are going through a complicated situation and would like to make your case known, you can write to me at email@pepemisterio.com.mx. You can write to me on Facebook as Pepe Misterio, or on Instagram you can find me as Pepe Misterio Mexico or Pepe Misterio Documentaries.